Hello, everyone. Hope everyone's doing okay. How are you doing, Jamie?
Yeah, really good. Really good. Feeling fresh.
Back to a deload.
I know. I think well received from my part personally, and from feedback from the members. So it's been a tough 5 weeks. It's good.
You've been following the class plan pretty closely, haven't you, for the past 5 weeks, haven't you? How have you found this phase all round? How's it gone?
I've really enjoyed it. So, like, I think if I'm talking to all head coaches and coaches, you're used to following your side plan that you do around the classes, because most of the time, if you're coaching a class. If you've got time to train, there's no class on. So it's been refreshing to kind of do that, like relate to the members. And my format would be I try to do Monday through Saturday, and then I'll take Sunday as a complete rest. I really enjoyed a Thursday active recovery. I'm the kind of person that if I don't train for a day, the next day's sessions are pretty dusty. On a Sunday, I tend to just like mope around and walk around and do some stuff. So Monday's not the end of the world when I get myself in a mood. But yeah, it's been really good fun.
Good. Is it a similar vibe for everyone else, kind of ready for a deload next week in the gym?
Yeah, I think especially after yesterday, so we're filming this on the Thursday, and I got a lot of fan mail for the 3 9-minute EMOMs, and I see across social media that a lot of the other gyms also experience the same kind of fan mail, also known as hate mail. So when members finish, they felt like they feel super fit. They were able to kind of push harder and further than what they expected. But then as a byproduct, they're like, right, now I know that I should be taking a rest from this. So getting to the end where we want to reload and get ready for a big push towards Christmas.
Yeah, definitely. And a couple of like cool things that I've noticed just over the gyms that are following the plan, just their social medias. You can see the gym up at Industry 13 up in Cumbria. Quite a few of their members have been doing quite a few comps recently, and you can just see like there's a really good community up there. A lot of people are doing pretty well in them regional kind of competitions and everything, which is cool to see. Down at Arc at Rodwell's, a lot of people are hitting the first muscle up. He's obviously not been open, he's only been open a couple of months, really 6 months properly, which is really cool to see all his members hitting muscle ups. And you guys had a bit of a in-house comp at the weekend as well. How was that?
Yeah, it was really good. It was Blitz's 8th anniversary. Normally we just have a party in the evening, but we did a partner workout and comp in the morning. Some great things to kind of come from it. Good way to build your community within fitness by doing some workouts, and then obviously having some winners, that kind of stuff. But then also the amount of PBs on cleans. We had a 1 rep max clean programmed. So the owner Tim, he did the programming, and he wrote a 1 rep 1 RM clean. And members, we had a bit of a sneak peek, because obviously he wrote the workouts in advance, but then fortunately enough, we had programmed right bang in the middle of the week a 15-minute EMOM of 1 squat clean building the weight. So I think a lot of the members were already exposed to going heavy on a clean earlier in the week, so they had a real good gauge on how it was going to feel and also what numbers to go for. But yeah, the amount of PB bell ringing was great. I personally think it was down to the amount of squat strength that our members have gained really over the last 8 to 12 weeks, having confidence in their legs. So when they ended up in the bottom of the squat, they were able to just power out of it. So hopefully our periodized plan it is working, where people are starting to get stronger. And in the next few months, people are really going to start to see the numbers shoot through the roof.
Yeah, definitely. Just a heads up, this next phase is called Reap What You Sow. So like I say, all them foundations and all the work we've been putting in over the past couple of months, it's nearly time to start putting that more into practice. And as the name says, it's time to, reap all those results from the effort we've been putting in over the past few months, like I say. So getting stuck into this deload week, for those that follow JST Compete, you'll notice that this deload actually mirrors it pretty closely. So if you've got any competitive members in your gym, probably quite nice to get them involved in the classes. I know you've got a couple of guys at your gym that are on the compete plan as well, Jamie. Like you said, it's usually for people that, you know, are a little bit more competitive and they do follow a separate plan, it can be quite lonely for them people. So probably quite nice for them to come back into that community atmosphere again. And probably also, which is good for your everyday members doing the classes, they also are being pushed a little bit more. They can see where they're at in relation to that person who's maybe a bit more competitive, and helps them kind of, you know, strive to push that a little bit harder, or you know, or anything else really. So yeah, I feel like that's a good kind of point to get across as well. Is there anything?
Yeah, I was going to add in is obviously when people do their individual programs, the exposure to them being tweaked and coached can be reduced because they're not in a class, they're not experienced that coaching and that feedback loop. So a couple of the things that I give to the individual athletes, because even if they're doing open gym, even if they're not following the JST Compete plan and they want to go and they're doing another program, I still feel responsible as a coach if they're in the room and I feel like I need to help them. I ask them to do a lot of filming. Most people that are on individual plans like to get it on social media anyway. So yeah. I'm like, well, if you film something in it and you want me to look at it, that's where you start to build better relationships. Sometimes, and it's happened previously, that athletes or members get to a point where they feel they can't be helped in a regular class, and that should never be the case. Mm-hmm. You should always, as a coach, be able to help the complete beginner, that grey person in the middle, and then also the advanced person. And I've learned that from experience. We're quite fortunate. We had obviously Ben, who used to join the class, there's a guy called Pat, both games level athletes at different capacities. But I still worked as a coach to try and give them value in the class if they jumped in. But then also the person that's 3 days off their foundations course. So as a newer coach, it's a lot easier to give some value to that beginner because there's going to be a lot of things to fix. Sometimes the coaching that was given to Pat and to Ben was to just breathe and relax and be smooth, because they're always pushing their threshold, and that's how you kind of give value across the whole breadth of a class. Kind of going back to that, getting those individuals or those open gym athletes back in, sometimes it's what's the hook, what's going to give them value. I know one of the guys that's just joined your plan, Harrison, is about his movement quality. So I tell him he can follow a program all he wants. He's 6 months into CrossFit. He needs to move better. So he dips in and out of the classes, and certainly this next deload week, he'll be in for most of the classes because he knows that getting coached off of us is going to be just as big a value as the program he follows.
Yeah, it's so key, like movement quality. It's easy to kind of just let it go out the window, but if you're moving more efficiently, you know, it's just saving so much more energy as well. Yeah, can't be emphasized enough that point for sure. Right, I guess let's get stuck into a few more key details of the actual week. We're kicking the Monday off with the triangle couplet, which was a games workout. Correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie.
That's on the Tuesday. You've scrolled across, sir. Unless
my bad. Oh yeah, I have. My bad.
Need a bigger laptop.
Things there. My bad. So going to the Monday, we've got the power cleans, percentage work. You said before, really important, especially if members have recently PB'd the cleans at competitions or gone off the plan in their own time at any point. Still really important to keep to the percentage work.
Yeah.
Still at the moment, we're just drilling good positions. Again, with it being a deload week, we don't want to, you know, hit anything too intense this week on the lifting side of things. It's just getting the stimulus, getting something relatively heavy, but nothing too crazy. Like I say, just so we're keeping that bit of a heavy stimulus. So when we're going into the next phase, we're still kind of ready for what's to come. Then the workout after, steady aerobic piece with a little bit of skill work, a little bit of low skill work sprinkled in throughout. And again, like you said just before, just focusing on the movement quality on those movements that are in that workout. like just positioning on the wall balls of where your hands are, like where are your hands when you throw the wall ball up, that sort of things. And same for the double unders as well, finding where the best hand position is, best elbow position. Just a great opportunity to just play around with different techniques and find out what fits best for you as well. Right, I'll let you do the Tuesday now.
So Tuesday workout, triangle couplet. When I saw this kind of come through the JST Compete side, my first thought was, I love this workout. I remember watching it thinking, well, it's 15, 10, 6. It's not a difficult workout. These games athletes, I remember watching it in 2015 thinking they'll all go unbroken on it, and then realizing they were probably like 2 or 3 days deep into the games and they were absolutely obliterated already. And then I went back on YouTube and watched it. So watched Steve give it a good old crack, and he was leading his heat for quite a long way, and then it looked like his grip started to go. So without doing this workout and just watching some seriously good athletes do it, it's going to be quite grip intensive, even though those thrusters may not feel like they're grippy at the time. Just that front rack position and the biceps and the forearms getting squashed down, going to make quite a big difference. So breaking those up would be probably a definite, like into 3 sets. The muscle ups will probably come as a given for most of your members in terms of breaking them up. And it's just about managing your rest periods in between. Can you go off of a set 15, 10 second rest period, or do you need a little bit longer knowing you can hang on and finish it? Even those guys at the end were trying to do the 6 muscle ups unbroken, and it wasn't happening, even though it feels like you probably could. So good bit of an opportunity to get muscle ups in a workout. We've been doing them in the EMOM quite regularly, and it's at what I would call a manageable volume for some of your top third members. 31 repetitions is not something that's too far away from one of your members to hit maybe RX. Scaling the weight on the thruster, if you've got a muscle up ninja, normally 75 kilos or 50 might put them in a hole. So see how it goes.
Question on this. So if I'm like a relatively new member, or someone that kind of struggles a little bit with the higher skill gymnastics and the heavier weights, and I'm coming into the gym like and thinking, oh my god, this workout, like what are you kind of saying to those members to kind of comfort them, or what's kind of your tack there?
Yeah, so what you'll probably find is if you have a member that's kind of on that higher skill element, not able to get to those higher skills, the day before is probably going to have had a bigger impact on them than what they think. So that 21-minute workout would probably be their opportunity to really like push the boat out. And then when you come to this, it would be more of a training session rather than a racing session, where they're looking at trying to go quite heavy on the thruster, so it can be a secret heavy day. And then from the gymnastics skill, you can go and look at 2 ways. Is it a skill-based element that they're missing the muscle up? So then the jumping muscle up can become a great skill, or is it purely a strength-based, where the strict pull-up could come in, or a jumping chest to bar pull-up where they look at controlling down? So it's really kind of trying to find out where their weaknesses are or what's making them break down. We've put some options in the scales in terms of a reduced number, so a 975. And then we've given you some ideas on what percentages of your clean and jerk should be the kind of the thruster there. So
cool.
Good stuff.
Yeah. Wednesday, classic benchmark workout. Annie, I feel like most people have probably done Annie at some point. Great test of conditioning, core. It's lower skill. For a lot of newbies, again, a good opportunity to practice double unders if they're kind of on the verge of getting them. We've got snatching beforehand as well, keep focusing on the footwork and on the skill. For that session as a whole, Jamie, would you kind of be looking to spend more time on drilling the snatching, or would you, like, how do you cater for kind of people who need to work on the snatch a bit more than maybe people who are all right with snatching but struggle with double unders? How much time do you reckon you're kind of spending on the different kind of parts there?
Yeah, so I like this format on the EMOM for the power snatch. Also makes you've probably got 50% of the class that like snatching because they can get into a good position. Then you've got 50% of the class that kind of tend to avoid it. So it's a matter of just making sure that this format they're well warmed up for. So presses behind the neck to kind of get that overhead position, make sure everyone's hips are open. Because for someone who struggles to get into a power position, opening up your hips and doing some air squats and kind of groiners will be good enough to get people just that little bit lower rather than their hips coming forward. You get in the old limbo snatch. So plenty of time and opportunity to get people into good positions and building their confidence with it. One thing to touch on the Annie workout, it's one workout that gets masterized the most amount. As soon as people feel like they get good, all of a sudden they're doing it with half GHD sit-ups, then they're doing it with GHDs, they're trying to double the double unders. Now, whenever I've done this, I get really sore abs from doing it because I'm trying to go fast and I'm trying to push. So it says to me that my midline could be stronger. So resist your more advanced members trying to adjust or RX plus, because RX plus is not a thing. That workout's there and it's hard enough if you go fast enough. 5 minutes, unbroken double unders, get yourself onto the floor, and then hopefully you're racing someone the same size as you, because if you're racing someone smaller, that the old CrossFit commentator, it goes on about it's a small man's game. It is if you're doing sit-ups and double unders.
It's true. Again, for those members that, you know, are competent at double unders and everything else, can you go straight into a double under, like straight into a double, rather than doing a single then a double? Great way to kind of test your, you know, higher level members or those that are proficient at double unders. And again, testing them members and being like, right, we know you can do double unders at one pace. Can you try and speed them up and not trip? So just putting a little spin on it and trying to test those members. Again, you know, you can make it as hard or as easy as you want to, like Jamie said, but yeah, there's still ways that you can make that workout more difficult for sure. On to the Thursday. So we've got some stroke rate work in there, Jamie. Now you used to do a few bits with rowing mod, didn't you? So what's the idea of this stroke rate work on a Thursday?
So with rowing at certain stroke rates, firstly, it's going to expose people to a new way of learning and it's going to keep people engaged. So most of the time, all by the shouting, it's 3.5 minutes rowing, 90 seconds rest. If you deliver it like that, after a minute or so, people's rowing techniques are going to get really sloppy. They're going to probably rate far too high and not get enough power out of it. So that's the kind of general concept to a class. You want to make it as engaging as possible and it will keep people focus on their technique for a lot longer. And then learning how to row at lower rates will teach you the mechanics. It's a bit like learning to air squat before you front squat. You have to learn to generate the power through a good solid stroke. And then it allows you then to start to think about the numbers. So as a nice general rule, 20 strokes per minute, 2 minute split. Okay, if you're doing that, for every split you go faster, you need to lose 1 split of rate. So if you go to 21 strokes per minute, you should go to 159 split. You go to 22, you should go to 158. And for your more advanced members, they have then 2 variables to work with, the stroke rate and their split. Now that's what we would base lots of that stuff on rowing mod with. What we have learned is if you're a beginner rower, focus on 1 variable. So for the first round of this 3-round workout, just focus on getting the stroke rate right and not necessarily worry about how much power, because your beginner rower will do 20 strokes per minute, but not put any power in, and it will be a 3-minute split. And you'll tell them to row harder, but they'll row faster. In the second round, you tell them to put a bit more effort in. And then the third round, you'll notice that they can take the power and then take it with them. So a few different ways to skin the cat. And then you can talk a bit more in detail on, say you're in a CrossFit workout and you're 15 minutes in, you won't necessarily have the power in your stroke. So learning how to rate a little bit higher, so that 28 strokes per minute will keep your power output at a better place than if you were just sitting, moving slowly. So a few different things in there for the rowing session. Keeps people engaged, and it also can build the intensity nicely across 3.5 minutes, rather than being a minute in and thinking I've got to slow down.
Some great points there. And that should definitely be applied to future kind of rowing sessions as well. So any other sessions on a Thursday where it's kind of do the workout depending more on how you feel. It could be that today I just want to take the intensity out of this workout a bit more. I'm going to focus on keeping a lower stroke rate and focus on my technique. Or it could be like Jamie said before, you go for the highest stroke rate and try and put it more on your lungs, because you're relying less on your legs, using more momentum as well when you're at a higher stroke rate. So yeah, just having that skill of being able to switch between higher and lower stroke rates when you need to in different workouts is again a great skill to have. So yeah, we could definitely go into more detail on that in future weeks and how that can be applied as well. So on the Thursday, I've got a bit of push press work, taking it off the floor. Obviously, we did a lot of push press work going back a little bit further after we finished doing the strict press cycle and building the strict strength. Good just to brush up on doing a bit of push press work, push press work today. Again, just a good opportunity to emphasize what's important in the dip, in the drive, making sure people's heels aren't coming up off the floor. Again, just dialing in them basics on the push press, just to remind people going forward into the next phase of training, because as we go heavier, we want to make sure that those key basic details are just still being worked upon. So yeah, some push press start, and then a Tabata style workout. Very rarely we see a Tabata style workout anywhere. I don't know about, can't remember the last time I did.
Yeah, no, normally people will throw them in as like little finishers and things like that. I'd say this is a bit more than a finisher. It's 14 minutes long. You're going to go through all of one movement before you get onto the next. So you're going to see a reduction in the number. So with the strict pull-ups, well, with all three movements really, you're probably going to be able to get through your first couple of 20 seconds worth of efforts without coming off the pull-up bar, without breaking your push-ups. But then very, very quickly, you're going to start to see that break down. You're going to see yourself trying to hang on. With any Tabata style workout, how you tend to score it. So for you guys that are looking to make sure that people quantify their fitness, is it's normally based off of your lowest number. So just because someone gets 20 push-ups in their first interval, if they get 3 in their last one, your score's 3. So just a good way to kind of keep your members in check. And it also will just educate your members on how to get the most out of their sessions and learn how to pace. Certainly on those toes to bar movements, we've got a workout coming up the following Saturday, which has 100 toes to bar on your own. Knowing how to pace that will mean that you won't get to 50 in a world record time and then take 3 times as long to get the last 50 done.
Good stuff. For the workout on the Saturday, again, this is off the complete plan as well, isn't it? You put it in a pairs format. Do you just want to kind of explain how that will roll?
Yeah, so the individual workout in terms of its structure is near enough exactly the same in terms of the 2 minutes to 4 minutes. I've adjusted the rep schemes on the workout, barring the burpees, so you guys that are doing this in pairs will feel like, oh, okay, you're getting away a little bit nicer there. But you're splitting the work as you want. When you're in the work, the intensity needs to be high because there is built-in rest periods. There's 2 built-in rest periods, the rest between AMRAPs, but also the rest you have between you and your partner. So that means that the intensity is super, super high on this. So we want you going quick 5s on the burpees, quick switching, go, go, go. On the overhead squats, that bar should barely be resting on the floor before your partner's picking it up, and you should be moving at speed. Obviously, we've got the bar muscle up or the ring muscle up, which is going to slow down. This is taken from an open workout many moons ago, and I remember them doing it at the I want to say it's called the Super Team Cup or the competition. Yeah. People doing it, and the people that got to the ring or the bar muscle ups first, unless they were super athletes, didn't necessarily get through the muscle ups that quick, because if you jack yourself up on overhead squats and burpees, your shoulders and your hips are not necessarily going to be firing for these muscle ups. So be sensible when you get there. Depending on the AMRAP flow, you won't be touching the muscle ups maybe until you get to the 6-minute window, because for the first couple of minutes, you're going to be banging out burpees and overhead squats.
Yeah. It's very cheeky, this format, with the ascending time of the AMRAP. Like you said, the first 2 minutes, you're probably just going to be doing pretty much burpees for the whole time. And then it's like, right, how do you then manage the overhead squats after doing 60 burpees between, 120 burpees between you? Like getting in that position there, and then obviously, as well as opening up the pec here, then coming to do the ring and bar muscle ups. We're gonna make sure we get a good warm up in for that beforehand. So I know you said before, Jamie, with regards to like going through the muscle up, you like to start from the bottom and work through. I feel like that will be kind of a very key part before doing this workout, is going through them different progressions, just to really make sure people are warm and ready to go. Because like I say, the pec's got to be open for the overhead squat, but obviously it's got to have some tension in ready for those muscle ups as well. So
definitely. We want to provide some trapdoor elements as well for those members that maybe like, I'm going to do the muscle up today, and then when it comes on, they're like, oh, what can I do, because I can't do it. So building through those progressions means that people can then kind of slot back into something that is more realistic of their fitness as well. So I like going that way. It tends to cover your whole group. If you have a whole class of ninjas, go for the higher skill option. And on the flip side, if you have a class of people that you scan the room and no one's got a muscle up and everyone's kind of in agreement, don't spend lots of time on the muscle up, let's focus on something else. Maybe there's an opportunity to improve someone's overhead squat by spending more time there, just because we know that they're going to be doing jumping chest to bars later on. So allocate your time. So have maybe 3 different ways of coaching that class: the everyman class, the advanced class, and then the beginner level class. So then you come prepared for who's in front of you.
Yeah, agreed. Having a couple of different options, don't be stiff in your approach. Yeah, good stuff. Finally, on to the Sunday. Another nice pairs workout. Again, some synchro work in there, which is always quite cool to do. Takes, again, that emphasis off the intensity a little bit, places the focus elsewhere. But like I say, it's some good low skill options in there, just air squats, some sit-ups. You can obviously pair up with someone that does want to push the intensity. You know, a great piece for just depending on how you feel. You can kind of take it as it is, really. So yeah,
this is my sneaky way of reducing intensity for the members that want to really push. So say us two are paired up, and you're the super fit one and you want to go really fast, but I'm slowing you down. It means that their intensity's capped. But then on the flip side, for me, I probably need to be working harder. So working with someone who's fitter than me will push me along. So then that allows me to get more fitness. It caps the intensity of the more advanced member that probably on a Sunday should be having a bit of a rest because they've hit it probably 6 days in the week. So it kind of, it balances out the room. It pushes the people that need to be pushed, and it caps the people that need to be kind of taking a bit of a break and move a bit easier. Sneaky.
Let's wrap it up there. Next week we'll go through more specifics for the next phase. and a few other little sneaky things that we've got planned as well. Nice little snigger there, Jamie. So yeah, if you've got any questions, drop us a message. Yeah, anything at all, just keep us in the loop. Like I say, we just want to continue being as transparent as possible. So yeah, anything that you're unsure of, let us know. Right, let's wrap this up. Catch you all soon.